Retail, 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 retail. Hey, I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex. Welcome to my monthly Best Games Coming to Retail video. These are games that are coming to retail in North America. Europe has their own release dates. They're a different place. They do what they want. These are the best games coming to retail in April 2022. These are games you can get this month. You don't have to hope and pray that they show up on your doorstep one day. Get them now! AEG is releasing Meeples and Monsters, and I've actually had a chance to play this game, and it uses one of my favorite mechanisms in games, bag building, where you buy things to add to your bag and you build up the potential power of your bag, but there's still that excitement where you have to reach in and hope you get what you want to get out of the bag. So in Meeples and Monsters, there's a bunch of different colored meeples, and they do different things, like the black meeples are good for fighting, the yellow meeples are good for questing, things like that. And so you can purchase different meeples on your turn, add them to your bag, and then every turn you're going to be pulling a certain number out of the bag and then using those to do worker placement type things and to fight monsters. And, it's really fun having all these different meeples and fighting all these different monsters. And I also like that the game feels very replayable. One game you might go, oh, I'm going for red and blue meeples this time because I want to see how that combo works. And then this next game, I'm going to do this other type of strategy. And you can definitely explore a lot of different strategies in the game. So that is Meeples and Monsters from AEG. Blue Orange Games is releasing Downtown Farmers Market to retail. This is a puzzle tile laying game, and they literally describe it as mind-boggling. So, hopefully it doesn't hurt your brain too much. But the theme is a farmer's market. You are putting tiles down and trying to line up ingredients with these different challenges. And at the end of the round, the ingredients you put down line up to these challenges, you get points. So, and I love farmers markets. It's a nice way to get some fresh produce. And, don't try to eat the cardboard tiles in this game, but, look at them and think about eating some produce. How about that? Cryptozoic is releasing to retail Batman: The Dark Knight Returns. This is meant as a solo player game. There is a two-player variant in it, but it was designed as a solo player game. So if you're looking for a game to play just by yourself, then check this one out. I got to see it at Gamma, and I will say, one of the coolest things in it, there are bat dice. Yeah, there are literally dice in the game that have bat wings that come off of them. So when you roll it, it does unpredictable things because there are bat dice. And I bet you didn't know that you needed bat dice in your life, but you do now. And now you're going to need them in your life. All right? In this game, you are playing as an old Batman that comes out of retirement. Yeah, you're a Batman whose knees hurt all the time, especially when it's cold and rainy. And Gotham is always cold and rainy. So you're playing as a Batman that does this a lot when he stands up. Old Batman. You are coming out of retirement to face old and new villains. People such as Two-Face, the Joker, and even Superman. The game is playable as standalone missions or as one epic playthrough in which the results of each mission carry over to the next mission. So you can play a single mission if you want, or you can play it as a campaign style. And it looks pretty cool. So if you're a Batman fan and you want to know what old Batman is like, then check out Batman: The Dark Knight Returns board game. DeVere Games is releasing 3 games to retail this month, and they are all sort of small, quick, backpack, purse, pocket style games. They're all games that take, somewhere between like a 10 and 15, 20 minutes. So if you want small games that play quickly, I think my favorite of the 3 of them is probably Walkie Talkie. It's a party game where every card has a color on one side and a letter on the other side. And when you get your hand, you don't get to flip them over to whatever you want. You have to play the hand that you get. So some cards in your hand will be colors and some will be letters. And then you're playing cooperatively and trying to get all of the cards out of your hand as quickly as possible. And the way you do that is you will start the game with one color card up and one letter card up, and then you can play either a letter card or a color card, and you have to say something that starts with that color. So, so if there was a yellow M, you'd be like mango, and then someone puts a green down, and now it's a green and an M, and someone says money. And, it's a real-time game where you're trying to get it done as quickly as possible, so there's definitely that, fun tension where you're like, V and green, V and green, what's V and green? Why can't I think of anything green and vegetable? Vegetable, how about that? That works, yes, okay, now keep going. And it's, it's a very quick, silly, fun party game, word association stuff. So if you like that, then check out Walkie Talkie. I also really like the game Ouch from Devere as well, another one of these small, quick games from them. And Ouch is a set collection game, but it includes a very silly dexterity mechanic in the game. There will be 6 cards out, and you are just drafting cards and trying to get the most blooms on these desert cactus. But the trick is you have to pick the card up on one of the 4 sides, and if you pick it up and there's a cactus on the other side, it pricks you, ouch, and you have to drop the card and you don't get to keep it. So you're like, gambling on which side do I want to pick this card up by, and it's, it has those funny moments where you flip it over and you're like, dang it, only one of those 4 sides had a cactus, and I picked up the dumb wrong side. So it's just it's a set collection game with that funny dexterity mechanic where you might ouch. The last of the 3 small quick games that Devere is releasing to retail this month is Veggies. This is about a produce market. So we had a farmer's market earlier, and now this is a produce market. So it's a real healthy month for board games. Is this the universe saying that I need to eat better? I feel like I'm getting called out right now. Should I have had fast food at 10 p.m. last night? Probably not. Probably wasn't the smartest idea for my future, but, I did it. And no going back now. Maybe I need to play Veggies at downtown's farmer's market and think about what I'm eating more. In Veggies, it's another drafting game. You're drafting these cards, and you're trying to build up your marketplace by creating the largest areas of different types of produce. So, if this card has 2 strawberries on it, and then this card has, 3 strawberries here, maybe I put them like this, so now I created an area of 5 strawberries. So it's another quick, set collection tableau building game about vegetables, which I need to eat more of. Floodgate Games is releasing to retail Decorum, and I actually had a chance to check this one out at Gamma, and I gave it my award for most innovative game at Gamma. And the reason I did that is because Decorum is a cooperative game, but it feels unique in the cooperative game category because it's an antagonistic cooperative game. Yes, you are working together with other people, but you're almost butting heads at times. The theme of the game is that you're a bunch of roommates and you are trying to arrange the, lamps and furniture and wall hangings in your house, but everybody has secret objectives and you are trying to accomplish those secret objectives, but you can't tell other people what your secret objective is. So you might need a red lamp in the bedroom, and then in the bathroom you need it to be painted blue or something like that. And different people will be moving things around, and you can't tell them what your secret objective is. You can only just give them indications where it's they remove a red lamp out of the bedroom, and then you have to be like, I hate that. I hate what you've just done right now. And they're like, oh, gee, I'm sorry. I didn't. Okay, I'll put the red lamp back, And so, there's different times. It sounds silly and funny, but it really is very thinky. It is a puzzle of a game, and you are trying to, it's not that silly while you're playing it, because you're just trying to figure out how to arrange all this stuff. So if you like cooperative puzzles, this is a really intriguing one to check out. And there are those funny moments where, somebody does something and you're like, I love that. And they're like, oh, great, I love that too. And someone else is like, well, I'm lukewarm about that. And you're like, I'll work with lukewarm. We love it. So lukewarm is okay. I'll figure this out. So that's Decorum from Floodgate Games. Gale Force 9 is releasing Pathfinder Level 20. This is a game that, builds on the Pathfinder universe, but it's a board game. Pathfinder, if you don't know, is one of the most popular fantasy role-playing games out there. So this is I love the theme of Pathfinder Level 20. You are not playing as the humans, you are playing as the kobolds, which are like these lizard-like humanoids. You are playing as kobolds that are just hanging out in your dungeon lair, and all of a sudden, these level 19 humans come down into your lair and try to kill you to level up their characters to level 20, but you don't want to die. Nobody wants to die. So this is a game where you are basically trying to run and hide and put obstacles in front of the humans and do anything you can to survive. All you are trying to do is not end up on the end of their blade. And I think that's a pretty fun theme. You're trying to be either the last player surviving or trying to be the one that scares the fighters away, that makes them flee in shame. And it's just a 20 or 30 minute game, so it sounds like a lot of fun with a good theme and a quick play time there. Game Right is releasing Hit or Miss, and this is sort of a take on some other games that are out there, like Scattergories or By Felicia. In Scattergories, a category comes up and you write a bunch of things down, and you're trying to write things down that nobody else wrote down. In By Felicia, a category comes up, you're trying to write things down that everybody wrote down. Well, in Hit or Miss, there's a category that comes up, you are trying to write things down, but then you roll a die, and if it says hit, you have to say something that you think everybody else wrote, and if it says miss, you have to say something that you think nobody else wrote. So there's that fun, it's kind of combining all of those things into one party game. It says that it plays 3 to 8 players, but really you could play it with any amount of people. Just get some pens and paper and you can play this with the die and have a good time. So if you're looking for a party game that plays a large group of people, check out Game Right's Hit or Miss. IV Studios is releasing Veiled Fate to retail, but I do want to note with this one, this is not coming into game stores or things like that. Veiled Fate had a big Kickstarter, and they did a very small extra print run, so you can get copies of it even if you didn't back the Kickstarter through IV Studios' website. They have a limited number of them, so if you want one, you probably got to go soon, but it is through their website. And if you don't know, Veiled Fate is both a strategy game and a social deduction game. It really combines the two of those things. And it's got an awesome board. It's got this big circular board that looks really, really cool. While you play, it says each game takes course over 3 ages of men. At the end of the 3rd age, the demigod with the most renown ascends to the throne. Will it be yours? Veiled Fate. All right. That was dumb. Kids Table Board Games is releasing to retail Creature Comforts, and I have had a chance to play this one, and I really like it. It is a worker placement game that includes a bunch of cute animals, but it has a really interesting thing where we've never seen in worker placement games before. There's a bit of a gambling aspect to it because every spot needs both a worker and a dice associated with the number there in order to give you the resources associated with that spot. So you get to roll 2 dice, have a little bit of an idea of where you can go, then place out your workers, then roll 4 more dice. So you can imagine the spots that pay out more might also have harder die results associated with them. You know, oh, this spot gives me 3 different resources, but I have to have a 6. Whereas this spot only gives me 1 resource, but I can have a 1, 2, 3, or 4 to go there. Yeah, you're probably gonna get, you know, rolling 6 dice, you're gonna get at least 1, or 2, or 3, or 4. But do you want to gamble and put a worker in the spot with a 6? What if a 6 doesn't come up? Then that worker is essentially wasted. You don't get anything there. So I love that like excitement factor where you're like, okay, I've put all my stuff out there. Do I want to play it safe? Do I want to gamble? And then let's hope I get the die results I need. It just it makes it feel like a fresh, different game in the worker placement genre. If you want to hear more of my thoughts, I actually made a video for that one a few weeks ago, so you can hear more of my in-depth thoughts on creature comforts. But it's a worker placement game that has a bit of gambling to it, and I love that excitement factor that's in it. Pandasaurus Games is releasing to retail Skull Canyon Ski Fest, and one of my favorite things about this game is that it's called Skull Canyon Ski Fest, and then the person on the cover is riding a snowboard. Huh? At the ski fest, we're gonna feature a snowboarder. Okay, all right, that's fair. You know, there's a skier in the background, and I think that's because snowboarding is better than skiing. Yeah, you heard it. I'm doing hot takes right now. I like snowboarding more than I like skiing. This is a fun theme though, where it is a mountain. It is a snow mountain with a bunch of different paths and routes and things like that on it. So you can take chair lifts up to different parts of the mountain. And really at its core, it is a set collection game. You are trying to collect certain cards that allow you to ski down different routes. And different routes are going to give you different amounts of points and stuff like that. So do you want to go for the easy routes where you don't need as many cards? Do you want to go for the harder routes where you need harder cards to get? Things like that. And, you know, it is, I'm just teasing about the snowboarder there because it is a fun theme. I haven't seen a lot of games about like ski resorts before. So if you like skiing or snowboarding, this might be a game for you. Prolific Games is releasing a little social game called Band or Album. In this game, you literally, someone says a phrase, it could be whatever they want, and then you have to decide whether you think that is a band name or an album name. You know, so if like somebody just says like cool guy, you're like, oh, that's definitely an album. That's an album name. Cool guy? What does that cover that album looks like? It's just like a guy with a mustache and a hat, you know, doing finger. Yeah, I'm on the cover of Cool Guy. That's what I'm saying right now. I'm the cover of the album Cool Guy. Okay, but you know, then you're just voting the way other people are voting, and you're getting points if people say. So it's mostly just like a conversation starter, a social lubricant type of a game where you just have silly debates over whether a certain phrase would make a better band or album. Restoration Games is releasing 2 games in the Unmatched line of games. If you haven't heard of Unmatched before, it is a miniatures dueling game featuring fighters of all different kinds, and all of the different fighters in it have their own set of cards and their own set of special abilities and things like that. So you're moving your miniatures around a board and fighting other characters. So there's been a decent amount of games that have come out in the Unmatched series. Right now we have 2 of them. There is Unmatched Marvel Hell's Kitchen, which will feature Daredevil, Bullseye, and Elektra. And then we also have Marvel Redemption Row, which features Moon Knight, Luke Cage, and Ghost Rider. So if you like Marvel stuff, if you like these characters, and one of the other cool things to note about Unmatched is these are all standalone games. This is not like an expansion or whatever. You can buy one set and play with just that one set, but you can also mix and match it with characters from other sets. So you can have, you can have Luke Cage fighting Daredevil, right? I got my, boy, that's a tough one. Who do I have my money on that one? I don't know. I'll get back to you. Let me know in the comments. Daredevil versus Luke Cage? Woo! That's a fight I want to see. So both of those Unmatched are coming out. Restoration Games is also releasing to retail this month Key to the Kingdom. So Restoration Games is known for redoing old games and making them better and bringing them back to the market. Well, Key to the Kingdom came out in 1990, and this new version does the same thing that the old version does, in the sense that it still features the classic hole-in-the-board mechanism where you can hop through portals and explore the Demon King's domain. But there are a couple of changes here. One, there's a lot more dice mitigation in the game. So in the original game, you just rolled dice and you're stuck with that. Now you've got ways that you can change dice rolls and use it to your advantage throughout the game. And then this new version also adds a new end game in which you need to face a series of mini challenges to win the game. So, you know, if you played the old Key to the Kingdom, well, now it got a facelift. And, you know, you're still allowed to play this even if you never played the old Key to the Kingdom. You don't have to know the old Key to the Kingdom to play this game. You'll probably like this game even if you've never heard of the old one. But, you know, if you have heard of the old one, then you got that nostalgic factor thrown in. You got double the reason to check it out. Skybound Games is releasing to retail Wonderland's War. This is a Alice in Wonderland themed game, and it's got a lot going on in it. You know, it's got bag building, it's got area control, it's got a rondel worker placement system in it. The art is awesome. It's super, super cool. I like the theme. I like everything that's going on in this game. So if you like a game for its art, for its production value, for its mix of all these different mechanisms, all of those are reasons to check out Wonderland's War. I'm really excited to get into it and get a chance to play it. All right, the Op is releasing Hello Kitty Monopoly to retail this month. You know, you probably already know Monopoly, and you probably already know Hello Kitty. Well, put them together, and you've got Hello Kitty Monopoly. There's not much more I can say about this one. If you've never heard of Hello Kitty and you've never heard of Monopoly, I am shocked. Have you been at sea for 30 years? That seems hard to do, to avoid those two things. So, you know, I want to shake your hand if you've never heard of any of those, because I want to meet the most out-of-touch person in the world. That's an interesting person to meet. Thunderworks Games is releasing to retail Tenpenny Parks. And this is a cool game in the sense that, like, you're building up a theme park, but it's not like a modern-day Six Flags type of a theme park. This is like an old-timey theme park, and it mixes worker placement with tile laying, but it does tile laying in an interesting way. Instead of having to lay all your tiles like next to each other, the whole point of this is you can't have any tiles touching each other. You know, I want this thing here and this thing over here, and so I'm like trying to figure out how to utilize my space to have nothing touching each other. You know, and which also makes thematic sense, right? I don't want my Ferris wheel going right into my roller coaster. Death. That causes a lot of death, and nobody wants that at a theme park. You keep your Ferris wheel and your roller coaster separate. And you're going to do that in Tenpenny Parks. Also, this game looks super cool. It's got a big circus tent in the middle of the game, like a 3D circus tent, and it's awesome. I really like it. So that's what I have in terms of the new games coming out. I don't focus this video on expansions, but I like to bring up a couple of expansions every month, just ones that I think people would be excited about. So one of them is Space Base, The Mysteries of Terra Proxima. So Space Base is a great dice rolling game where you're trying to build up your fleet of spaceships. Well, in The Mysteries of Terra Proxima expansion, you are exploring a newly discovered planet of Terra Proxima in this story-driven expansion. So it adds some storytelling elements into the game of Space Base. So that's fun to check out. And then also, Thunderworks is releasing Lockup Breakout. So Lockup is a game in their role player line, and Breakout is going to add some new elements to the Lockup game. So yeah, lots of great games coming to retail this month. I hope you get a chance to play a few of them. I hope we get a chance to play some together at conventions or something in the future. Thank you guys for joining me. Have fun playing games out there. I'm Grant with Grant's Game Rex.